Hello, my name is Vivian Gemian, licensed professional counselor. My private practice is located in Newfoundland, New Jersey. So, how are you doing with the gradual opening of life around you? Are you more anxious now that businesses, work, and life is opening up? I can imagine that most of you have been waiting for this day to come, but now that it's here, are you comfortable? What are your feelings? Are you feeling anxious, fearful, angry? Or are you filled with a new hope, a gratitude, and a sense of happiness, joy? I think we can safely say that most of us are experiencing a mixture of these feelings, and that's a very normal response. Sure, there still remains much unknown for us, and this can certainly bring about a degree of anxiety and fear for us. I saw a quote the other day. It said, "Fear says, what if? Faith says, even if." Perhaps now more than ever, our spirituality and faith in our higher power is what we need to lean onto and to bring us comfort and peace. Meditation, prayer, finding our own personal solace when we feel a bit jittery and anxious can be very valuable to our overall feelings of peace in the midst of a storm. Many people use yoga for a solace, something I would encourage you to do. Try to remember to practice mindfulness, challenging yourself not to go to the what ifs or to generalizations and then catastrophizing your thoughts, but to try to stay in the moment. Stay in the present moment and navigate through your feelings as things around you open up. It's a new normal. Our world has changed, and many medical professionals have said that our normal moving forward will be a lot different than what we have known before. But even through that, we will find ourselves navigating through it and finding our path and our ability to do so. And we will eventually find we can maintain a balance of life within ourselves and within our relationships, a new balance and a new normal. It will take time to find this balance within ourselves. So give yourself this time and try not to overly demand and put demands on yourself, okay? Take time, be patient. I heard a doctor speak the other day who had recuperated from the virus. He stated he was so very ill and weak while in the hospital and missing his family tremendously. He just wanted to go home. He said what kept him going was the immense kindness and caring of the medical staff that tended to him in the hospital. He came away from that experience with how important acts of kindness are, not only for the receiver, but also for the giver. He actually said he felt like the medical staff was his new caring family when he needed them and when his own family could not be by his side. He said these acts of kindness gave him a hope. I challenge myself and others to be generous with your acts of kindness, and you will find how much better it can make you and the recipient feel, and the hope it can give you as you are showing kindness. Through this time of adjusting to a new normalcy, we still might have feelings of anxiety and fear from time to time. Work on keeping them in perspective, knowing what you need to do to remain safe. Try to have some coping skills in your back pocket to pull out when you need them. Find something that works for you, as there's really no cookie cutter skill that works for everyone. A friend told me that she returned to playing the piano as she found it brought her peace. Someone else found sitting with a good book was calming. Distractions are good. Yes, they are. But finding that inner peace for yourself will give you an overall peace and calm in which you do not necessarily have to be distracted to lessen your anxiety. It will be within you. Where can you find your own inner peace, and how do you sustain it? Find a soothing alternative. It'll take some thinking about this, but find a soothing alternative that works for you personally and use it as your go-to when anxiety, doubt, anger, or fear come over you. It may simply be counting to 10 or to 20 will help you. Maybe deep breathing, maybe muscle relaxation, or telling yourself, stop this negative decline and help myself move on a more incline, moving up that mountain instead of down. It may be thinking about a beautiful spot you have visited or would like to visit. Some image that is pleasing to your brain. It may be prayer, it may be meditation, it may be journaling, it may be yoga. Find what is calming for you. Excuse me. Remember the thinking distortions I discussed a few weeks back. Challenge yourself to face the ones you struggle with and work towards addressing them and changing to a more positive, automatic thinking pattern. I would like to suggest a book, The 10 Best Anxiety Busters by Dr. Margaret Wehrenberg, Wehrenberg. She gives quite a few helpful ways to control worry and speaks a lot about mindfulness that I have discussed several times over the last weeks. A few weeks back, I discussed control. What really can we control? In regard to this pandemic, we have control over the choices we make. For instance, wearing masks when in public, washing your hands for 20 seconds, social distancing when it's called for. Control what we can control. Make choices that will benefit us and see the reasons behind our choices. This has been a fearful time, really, for all of us. And I think we can safely say that when this is over, another fear may become right behind it and become prevalent in our lives. So what can we learn from this? Number one, let us face our fears, whatever they might be. When we do this, our fear stops controlling us and we begin to have control over our fear. Build upon those strengths you have gained through your experience. Eleanor Roosevelt said, "You gain strength, courage, and confidence by every experience in which you stop to look fear in the face. You are able to say to yourself, I lived through this horror. I can take the next thing that comes along." And another quote I found was, "Fear is only your enemy if you allow it to be." When we face our fears, we can reshape our brain. It helps us to look at past experiences and how we got through them. Build upon those strengths learned and develop and appreciate the courage and the strength it took for you to face a particular fear. We can form a confidence in ourselves by doing so. Can you name a strength that you might have gained through this experience? Think about it. What have you gained from these last months in isolation? How are you coming through it, moving to the next chapter? Think how creative you have been in regard to socialization, in regard to managing the many hats around the home and work. Looking back, you may have surprised yourself how you did come through and what you gained as an individual. One last thought. I came across a book which I think can be very helpful to many who have experienced loss and grief during this time. And the book is called Finding Meaning, The Sixth Stage of Grief by David Kessler, Kessler. The author describes the sixth stage of grief as meaning, transferring grief to a more peaceful and hopeful experience. If you are experiencing grief and loss of any kind, I encourage you to take a look at Kessler's book. It may bring a new hope to you in a time where you might be feeling a bit hopeless. It really has been a pleasure sharing with you over the past weeks. Think now what you have learned about yourself through this pandemic, ways in which you may have changed, how you have gotten through it, and how you have found peace through a grief experience. I hope you are coming through this time with a new perspective about yourself, what is really important to your life as a whole. Keep that gratitude journal daily, as we discussed a few weeks back. Refer to it, reread it, as it can be a great source of hope and encouragement to you in weeks to come, months to come. 2 additional books I'd like to suggest. The first is Real Happiness by Jonah Pequette, P-A-Q-U-E-T-T-E. In it, he describes suggested paths for contentment, peace, and well-being. Excuse me. And also discusses mindfulness. I think this book would be a very valuable read for you. As yes, it does discuss mindfulness, as we have many times, but also discusses contentment and happiness. The second book is called The Gratitude Habit, a 365-day journal and workbook. The author, Wendy Meg Siegal, S-I-E-G-E-L, describes her book as a tool for creating positive feelings in your daily life. Both of these books can be valuable in helping to be aware and change nagging negative thoughts that we may have to a more positive and grateful thought pattern. Now remember to seek professional help if you are seriously struggling and need help navigating your thoughts, whatever they may be. You can go to psychologytoday.com and find professional counselors in your area. It's a very good site to seek some help. Thank you to this Tuxedo Park Library for the opportunity to share with you over these last few weeks. I really, really appreciate it. It's been my pleasure speaking with you over the last weeks, and I hope what we have discussed has been of help to you during this time. And stay well, stay healthy, and I'll talk to you soon again. Bye-bye.